Every now and then you come across a gamer collab that just blows your mind, and it usually comes out of left field. Like, you'll be watching Twitch, and then all of a sudden, like, three of your favorite like game creators, collab in a dungeon or raid, and that's what I'm going to be reviewing today. So I compiled a bunch of clips together of the Vault 93 raid, and it's the iconic collab of legendary creators Juicehead, UpIsNotJump, Oxhorn, and the notorious ManyATrueNerd. So the four of them go and do this dungeon on like the day it was released. So there's a bunch of glitches, a bunch of messy things that happen, and they do what they need to do to get this thing done. So, like, throughout these clips, you'll actually see, like, a bunch of the glitches that were in Fallout 76 before all of the updates, because the game today is completely different than it used to be. So, yeah, have a seat and just enjoy the show. What I say, it's all my opinions. The footage I have is from Oxhorn's channel, and I'm just going to do commentary on that. And I think all of these creators are extremely talented. I linked all of their channels in the description, as well as the streams themselves. So definitely check them out, but let's get right into it. A true nerd kind of recognized the gravity of like how epic the collab was, and like he had like this little quote to say, so I'll start it off with that.
We're actually set up for people who didn't realise. This is Mr. Juicehead, Mr. Oxhorn, and Mr. UpIsNotJump in what possibly may be the biggest Fallout collaboration in all of history.
So they all gather in front of Vault 94, and they're all kind of like just doing what like you normally do before you go into like a dungeon with people, where you're just trying to like figure everything out, like what's what. But there's like a couple foreshadowing things that happen. So the first thing that happens is Juicehead like isn't wearing any power armor. So Oxhorn, like his like character was like a heavy weapons character. So he was wearing, power armor and stuff like that in like throughout the game. And if you don't know Fallout, power armor is like an exoskeleton made of metal that gives you like a ton of resistances. So Oxhorn says to Juicehead, he's like, hey, you might want to wear a set of power armor, to get suited up, because I think Juicehead was just wearing like a bathing suit skin or something like that.
Juicehead, are you going to change into something a little bit more appropriate?
Oh yeah. I don't even know if I have any other clothes.
Oh man, you need get some power armor on. We're going to be killing like.
And it's foreshadowing because at the launch of Fallout 76, like it wasn't optimized, so a lot of people had complaints with the need for power armor. Like a lot of people were like, I don't want to go through the game wearing power armor, because there was like, people's opinion was there was balance issues where people wearing power armor were taking so much less damage, it almost made power armor a necessity. So like going into that, I don't know, just remember that for later. But the other thing that was happening in it is it dawns on Oxhorn also at some point that this is Oxhorn's first time in a group ever in Fallout 76. So like one thing about Oxhorn is he creates a lot of Fallout content, and his content itself is single player, of course, because like Fallout 4, he has so much amazing content on like lore and stuff like that. So he kind of has a realization, kind of like ManyATrueNerd when he realized the gravity of the collab, that he's like, yeah, this is my first group. So
we are making progress. We're at least in the same group, which incidentally is my first group ever.
Sorry.
So they get into the vault and they have to do some sort of operation. So they're kind of like typing on the terminals and all this stuff to try and figure out how to get in and like actually start the thing. And ManyATrueNerd realizes that he's the team leader, so he's like shooketh, because you know what I mean. He's about they're about to do something that like they're really not used to.
I don't know if there is.
Wait, I've got the star. Well, in my version, I've got a star next to my name, which I think might mean me.
In my version, you also have the star next to your name, so you're the team.
Okay, I'm in charge.
You're the boss.
Vault door control. Okay, I'm opening the vault door.
John, I think it's best that you're in charge, because you're
very good at this game.
I've brought enough water for everybody.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, it opened.
It's Vault 94.
Don't worry, I'm in charge, so it's okay.
I think Oxhorn had some experience in MMOs and stuff like that, so like they all seem just like a little skeptical about the whole thing, like a little bit unnerved, and they're just like, I don't really know what's gonna happen, and like so on. But there's this one moment that blows my mind because UpIsNotJump starts having like a heart-to-heart with Oxhorn. So they're like talking to each other. And I guess UpIsNotJump was actually like, he did a contest that Oxhorn had made. So like Oxhorn had this website contest where I guess people were creating them, and then, you know, there would be a winner and so on. But the problem was towards the end, Oxhorn is like, oh yeah, I really remember that. Like, oh yeah, like totally, I remember that. And it just seemed as if Oxhorn had no idea what he was talking about. But
funnily enough, Oxhorn, I have a cool story about you that you might probably don't remember.
Okay.
Don't worry, it's not weird. It's not weird at all.
All right.
That doesn't sound. When you were
like
working,
the shirt you're wearing right now.
Yeah, when you were well, when I was about 14, you did a competition at a website called like WeGame or something like that. You did a machinima
Yeah,
competition.
I remember that. Yeah.
This was about 10 years ago.
Right.
And I entered it, and it was one of the first YouTube videos I ever made.
Which one was
And
it?
It was for making a machinima. I think that's all I remember, but I know who won. That might help jog your memory. It was a black and white World of Warcraft machinima where like a train was going to run over one of the characters, and it was all it used like music from like, you know, the 60s, and there was no sound. It was all
Yeah, I remember.
text boxes. And I was in that competition, and I'm pretty sure I came because it was like a top 10 list, and I wasn't even on that. But I don't hold it against it. It was very good. I'd never
Wow.
made a video before.
Well, I do remember the contest, so
It's weird, isn't it?
yeah,
Small
it's
world.
funny how that happens.
that could be just me trying to make something funnier than it is. But I was dying laughing the entire time because it was like such a heartfelt moment, because I guess UpIsNotJump was like 14 at the time, and it meant a lot to him. And Oxhorn probably 100% remembers, but it was like you have someone to come up to you, right? And they're like, oh, hey, like I remember XYZ when you were here. Or like you meet someone in a grocery store and you don't remember their name, but they know like everything about you. And you're just like, oh, sure. Yeah, of course. And you're just like, I don't know. That's the vibe I got from it. So just keep that in mind as you go, if you ever watch the live, which I sincerely hope you do. I linked it below. But for other interactions between the two of them, because I don't know, I thought they were hilarious. But they finally get like the thing started, and they find that it is a mess. So the game crashes a couple times, and like at launch 76 was pretty messy, but they've made like a ton of updates, and it's like a completely different game now. But remember I was talking about Juicehead and Oxhorn talking about the power armor? That comes up again because Juicehead just keeps going down over and over again. And there's a specific point where Oxhorn, like every there's like a span of an hour where like every 5 or so minutes I feel as though Oxhorn is like, where's Juicehead, just like trying to get to him because he constantly has to stim back him to revive him.
So I wouldn't rely on us too much.
Where's Juicehead?
They're both next to the strangler.
Oh, for crying out loud! They're all on me.
Yeah, it's
Gotta get.
everything else is useless. I'm a bit everything trapped actually.
Then at one point, like 3 of them are down, and it's only Oxhorn up because Oxhorn's the only one that has power armor on.
I'm down.
Thank you for your help. I will not last very long.
Okay, I'm coming.
And it just further illustrates the point where at launch, like they didn't optimize it correctly. So like people who didn't wear power armor were at like a severe disadvantage. And yeah, it just speaks for itself. So they finally get past that like initial horde where people were just like dropping like flies. But and then they have to find these key cards, and they're all trying to figure this out, and there's a timer, so like the time is going down, but they do figure out at one point how to reset it, so they're not like scrambling for their lives.
Card is what we need, the control card.
Yeah, I've got it.
Oh,
there we go.
So I think I did it.
Yeah, I've got it. Done. Okay, we've reset the timer to 3 minutes, which is good.
Okay.
But there's another moment between UpIsNotJump, and I was saying how when you watch this stream, there's a lot of these. Like, pick up on these little moments between Oxhorn and UpIsNotJump, and I think UpIsNotJump knows that like Oxhorn is like lore focused, because in the beginning when UpIsNotJump was having that heart to heart with him, Oxhorn let him know, he's like, oh yeah, I just focus on lore with my videos, and like Oxhorn has some of the best lore videos for Fallout content on YouTube, if not, well, I would say it's the best, because he's the one that kind of like I grew up watching. And he goes over to UpIsNotJump where he's kneeling, and Oxhorn's just like, oh yeah, that's great. And then after Oxhorn says that, like UpIsNotJump has like this awkward laugh. And
Oxhorn, I've found some lore.
Yeah?
I don't know if that's something you want to see.
What's it say?
It's not written lore. There's a skeleton here with one arm, and he's got a dish rag in his mouth and a knife in his other hand. No, a bone saw. And there's like.
So he was using a vine as a tourniquet?
Yeah.
Cool.
Vaguely interested, cool.
I don't know. You can't tell me that there isn't some sort of weird friction between them. And I don't think it's not mean-spirited at all. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying there's certain moments in life that I pick up on, and everyone picks up on, where there's this like awkward tension. And I don't know how to explain it. I'm not sure if anyone else will find it entertaining, but I do. They get past whatever key card situation they had to deal with, and then another horde comes in, because like that's very like raid dungeon. It's like, you know, various hordes over and over again, and the same thing happens. Juice goes down, and Oxhorn is on the case and trying to rescue them.
Where's Juice?
I'm right next. I can see you.
Ah!
I'm here. I'm helping you. That one's dead.
Thing is the health bars of the enemies are all glitched, because Fallout 76 on release, it had this like weird glitch where every time you would hit an enemy, like the health bar would like regen. It was almost canceling out the damage you did, and you never knew like when the enemy was gonna die. So like if you notice, Oxhorn is just like shooting and shooting and shooting, and these enemies aren't going down. And
shitting hell.
Where are you?
There we go. I've just been bounced around. Shit.
I can help with my axe. That's my axe.
Meanwhile, like all of that's going on, they're just like constantly going down over and over again. And I'm not really sure, because when we're watching this, like you don't know if the enemies are actually working as if they're supposed to be. And it's funny to me, because if I was working at Bethesda and I saw this is like one of the biggest Fallout creator collabs ever. Like this one stream, and the amount of glitches going on in this situation. First of all, it tells me something. This was not sponsored. Like they weren't put up to this, because a lot of people are like, oh, content creators, like they don't do this kind of stuff unless they're being paid. Like I don't think any of these people were paid to do this. I don't think it was sponsored. I could be wrong. I have no idea. But the thing that tells me that is just the amount of glitches that go down. And like I give them mad props for, you know, keeping up with it, because when you watch the stream, you'll notice like they go back to the they go back into the dungeon like several times, because they're just adamant to get it done. And then after the glitch with the health bar, and they're like constantly, he's like stimming everybody, then there's a glitch with the power armor, because, you know, midway through they decide, they're like, okay, we should probably be wearing power armor. So they finally get in the power armor, and it glitches, and he gets stuck in it.
See what's going on with me?
Where are you? Where'd you go?
You're standing below
Oh no!
standing below the flower.
Emergency relaxation.
You're like half in your power armor. What's?
Oh yeah, what
Yeah,
happened?
I've noticed.
Can you move?
No.
Oh,
Shall I invite you to trade?
Yeah, see if you can invite me to trade.
Oh, God.
The power armor mechanic, like actually it's a technical marvel because like Bethesda created this animation where the player like jumps into the power armor, and it looks so cool, but like as a consequence, like I'm not really sure, I don't know if it was the multiplayer component, but like sometimes your character will just get stuck in like a T pose. Like in that clip you can see like he's like half out of the power armor and like half in. So after all of that, the key card situation like comes to a head where they're just like wandering around this like mid area trying to figure out how to reset like the pumps or something like that. And it just goes on and on forever, like them trying to figure it out. And then at one point it gets so like abysmal that like ManyATrueNerd kind of like gives up, and then him and UpIsNotJump just have like or like start having these random side conversations, and then the whole time they're like just blabbing on and on. Oxhorn is like desperate to find the key cards to
Yeah. Pretty much.
Oh well. So, ManyATrueNerd, how did you get your start? I asked you that earlier.
Interviews now.
But back to the video. Did your YouTube channel took off when you did the Fallout New Vegas video where you killed everyone? Is that right?
Yes, I killed everyone.
because you know like his whole thing is like he wants to find lore. But the thing is, I think after everything's said and done, I think Oxhorn goes in and does the whole thing solo. So I'm not really sure. But overall, the climax of the stream is, I would say, the struggle that goes through UpIsNotJump and ManyATrueNerd trying to find the key cards, because like at one point like I like sincerely believe like they lost all hope, because at that point they had been through like the health bar glitches, like the difficulty was so crazy, because when they went into the thing it said that it was like a recommended 50 plus, and like all of them except UpIsNotJump is over level 50, but it just seems like everyone kept going down. And the biggest like thing that I noticed during it is like Oxhorn has so many stim packs, and the only thing I can think of is Oxhorn is like a completionist player, so like he picks up like every single thing in the game. So probably at that point Oxhorn just had like a store of like hundreds of stim packs, and then also they may have been dropping off of enemies. So I think they like just barely get through it, and I won't go over like all of the details in detail because I really think it's totally worth it to go in and watch the stream. And what I'll say is, like, when you're watching the stream, like, if you know Fallout and you know the changes they've made, what's crazy to me is like the night and day difference of Fallout 76. Like, yeah, it looks the same, of course, but the amount of glitches that they went through and all of that, like the game is just like a totally different game now, especially because like when you look at things like operations, and they also have the expeditions, like, and they all work really, really well. So the biggest thing that I'll say is I definitely recommend these streams, and like this particular stream, and I tried to find all of the streams on all of the different creators' pages, but I couldn't. I was only able to find ManyATrueNerd and Oxhorn's, and then all of the like the little clips I put is from Oxhorn's video, and I'm hoping that like he wouldn't mind me using it, but I think it's like kind of like the commentary thing, like I don't know, I feel like a lot of people do it. I don't really know. This is my first kind of like reactionary kind of video that I've ever made. I've linked all of the links to the channels of the people and also the videos, like the live streams that I was able to find, so that way you can check out the creators as well as the videos that I referenced. But thanks for watching, anybody who did. Please like the video, I'd really, really appreciate it, and subscribe. But adios, be well, don't take life too seriously, and I'll see you in the next one.
Just useless.
So
I'm out of shotgun ammo. Gotta switch to another weapon.
For my wedding, we bought too much alcohol, and we had over 100 bottles of wine.
Oh yeah, here, Oxhorn, come here, come here.
What? What?
Oh, shooting hell!
Sorry.
Drop the shotgun. Oh god, where is it?
There's too many at the rear. But
There, I
they're
see
all
it.
here, look, me right now, which is actually
Thank
kind of
you.
good.
Yeah.